Uh, what up? What up? What up? What up? What up? Hold up, Cody. There we go, baby. There we go. There we go. We in the
Uh,
building. We back. We back, huh? We back, baby. How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling, man? You know we had to get up in here, get up in the kitchen, man, on a good Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. Week 6 is finally in the books. You know what I'm saying? A lot of good football that we saw this weekend, man. Quarterbacks and a lot of rookie talk, man. A lot of rookies showing some love in this game and getting their flowers finally. So today we're gonna talk about that, man. Especially them quarterbacks, man. We gotta address the QBs and them the guys that make all the money, man. So before we get started though, Cody, how you feeling, brother?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. I had a good weekend. Matt Keenum was in town. He just left late last night. He was in town all weekend. Watched all these games together. Got to chill out, watch some college football together. Drink a little bit. Know what it is. Had a good weekend.
Yeah.
You said tired coming in. I said, yeah, I'm tired coming in too. I think. I mean, we're also mid-season, brother. It's about week 7. I mean, we're halfway through this regular season of fantasy football.
Yep.
We're here. We're ready to cook this thing up.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, man, if you think about it, like that 6 weeks went by like that, bro. Like we on week 7 already, man. I mean, next thing you look up, we're gonna be in the playoffs wondering, damn, what we gonna do with these picks, or what we gonna do with these players, or are we just over? You gonna have people in your lineup in your leagues that's not even paying attention to their lineup no more. Their season's over with, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, we halfway through, man. I know this Sunday I didn't go in the game. I went out there to the game. So I just wanted some smoke with the smokers, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm in the parking lot talking my talk, man. I had my Cowboys jersey on, but I kept my Dez Bryant Ravens on my shoulder. You know what I'm saying? It was, so all them ones tried to pull my card. I said, hold up, brother. Hold up, man. Give me a little bit of love, you know? So it was a good vibe out there, man. I didn't realize how hot it was. Like today is a little chilly, but Sunday morning, bro, maybe because I was drinking a little bit too, but man, I was drenched out there, bro. So ooh, I don't know, man. I think the sunny days are over with, but it was a good experience, man. You know, battle with the Beltway. Hopefully, we get that week to week because I think the Commanders earned that spot now. So,
Is that a good tailgating scene up there?
so look, this is the funny part, right? Man, it was booming in the parking lot. I was out there having a great time, and by like 20 minutes into the game, bro, it was empty. Everybody was gone. Like it's so I think what happened was everybody wanted to see this game so bad that nobody was like, I think we just missed the opportunity because people wanted to see this game. So but it was a good experience though. Like I said, I got out there super early, was chilling, watching the London game in the car. So I had a good time though, bro. I can't complain. I went by myself, so I was like, hey, I'm just meeting and greeting, you know what I'm saying? I ain't tripping. So
Sounds fun. Sounds
yeah,
fun.
it was cool. It was cool, bro. I ain't even used my phone enough because I was just having too much fun, bro. So I snapped 2 pictures and rolled up out of there. So shout out to the good old people we got this morning, man. We got my boy Shizzles, man. What's up, brother? DB83 in the building as always. Big Corey, man. I checked your overcooked, man. You ain't had those battery percentages on there, man. So you must not have been doing too good, play. I checked you out earlier, man. What's up, Pops? Yeah, look, I look, all right now. Don't be in Carolina, man. That sweet raised barbecue sauce getting cooked. All right, that's all I'm saying, Pops. Don't get cooked this Sunday, brother. So Michael Fox, what's up, bro? What's up, man? So yeah, Cody, man. I mean, I guess today, man, we're gonna go over some of the games and check out some of the highlights of the weekend. But today I really want to focus on just the rookie quarterback scene since we halfway in. I know 2 of the guys like Rattler and Maye saw their first NFL, game play this season. I mean, this Sunday. So, we won't really have a lot of tape on them, but we got enough to say what we think they can possibly be. Yeah. But just before we dig into them, man, and get too far into the show, man, what's your thoughts on Sunday as a whole, man, and some highlights from your favorite takes of the games?
I think Sunday as a whole was a good day. It wasn't kind of a double down as far as scoring goes in totality, but we did have a number of teams obviously get into that 40-50 range, which is good. Because, I mean, early in the season, those passing totals that we were getting where everybody was under 200 and Andy Dalton was the first one to go over 300. And I was getting a little worried about what that was going to look like as the long run of the season. But, I mean, we don't got to talk about your Cowboys quite yet, but that was interesting. That was maybe one of the bigger takeaways we got breaking news. Dude, is this the second week in a row we got breaking news the minute the show starts?
Yes, it is. Go ahead.
Let's go, baby. We got to trade. We got to trade live
It
right
just
now.
happened.
Second weekend in a row, we got the Jets.
The Jets. Go ahead, Cody. Go ahead, break it to him. I saw it. Go ahead, brother.
The
Break it
Raiders
down.
are completing a trade of star wide receiver Davante Adams to the New York Jets.
This what happened when you lose on Monday night, right? To a division
Oh my
team.
God.
We in panic mode for real now, right?
Yo, dude. That's interesting because, dude, I mean, what? This is going to sound really bad. What more is Adams going to give you than what Lazard just gave you?
Listen, bro, I don't know what they doing, man. I honestly believe this is a panic. We just fired our coach and we just want to do anything to prove that we aren't the worst team in our division. But they still not going to win a division. They still not going to win this division. I don't even think they're going to make the playoffs with this team. Davante Adams or not, bro. I don't even think they're going to make the playoffs, man. So that's just crazy, man. Back-to-back weeks, man. Cody, you must be are you a reporter for the Jets these days, man?
I might be. Here's the deal. It's a conditional fourth rounder to the Raiders that can become a second based on performance.
That's it?
So a fourth rounder that based on performance can become a second. That's pretty.
All that we standing ground, we won a second round pick was about nothing. So you mean tell me nobody in this league could have cooked up a third rounder just to make it an even, like, forget the fourth, it's a solid third on no conditions?
Maybe they didn't want that though. Maybe they wanted to try to get that second. I don't know. Maybe they don't think he can perform. That's
Man, now with Aaron Rodgers, if Aaron Rodgers on the other side, he gonna perform because Aaron gonna force him to perform. There ain't no question about that. Like, what I wonder what's the performance like balance, bro? Like the guidelines, because
yeah.
we already halfway through the season almost. So what more production do they need
So
to give them?
we're in week 6, so that means we got the Jets. Let me pull the Jets schedule, make sure I don't miss this here. So
I got you, Big Corey.
So they got a bye in week 12. So they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They got 11 games left. That's assuming he's ready for this Sunday night's game against the Steelers. I'm assuming he will be because it doesn't take much to connect with Raj.
What I be?
11 games. So what is that? Is that 1,000 yards? Is 1,000 yards? Is that too much?
I mean, bro, you still got Lazard, Wilson, Brees Hall who catch passes. I think 100 yards a game is kind of steep, man. I don't know, bro. If he get 1,000 yards in 10 games, they forcing the ball to him, and nobody else matters on that team. There's no way you walk in the door and get 1,000 yards on this team. If I'm Garrett Wilson, like, no, I might not even get 1,000 yards the way Aaron Rodgers not looking at me. You gonna get 1,000 yards and you just walk in the door? Nah, not on my watch. I'm just saying, Cody, if I'm Garrett Wilson, it's a slap in the face if you get this man 1,000 yards and you barely want to throw me the ball the first 4 games of the season, bro.
But like I said, I just don't know what this does to this team. I didn't think Lazard was going to be jack shit, but
clearly,
look at the stat lines, bro. I mean, Lazard is giving you about what you could expect out of Adams. So that's telling me that first off, Mike Williams, goose egg, 3 targets, 0, 0, 0. Like Mike Williams, dust, definite dust at this point. We knew that already, but definite dust.
Definitely.
And now Lazard's got to go to the Mike Williams role when he's proven to you he can play in essentially the Davante Adams role. Like, I get the Davante Adams better. I'm not arguing that, but I'm just saying, like,
yeah, I'm with you.
What more is Adams going to do for you? I don't know. I mean,
this is Aaron Rodgers
on the lack of having receivers. Like, I blame that game on this team is running the shit out of the football in the first half or the first quarter, and then just stopped.
Yeah. This is Aaron Rodgers playing GM, bro. This is nothing more than Aaron Rodgers saying, "Listen, y'all brought me here. I ain't got but a year or 2 left. You better let me get who I want so we can try to win this thing." And them not having a leader because the coach is gone, saying, "Okay, man, look, Rodgers is your team, bro. Rodgers is the LeBron of this team. Rodgers. He's Rodgers right now. And Rodgers right now is putting it on. This is what I want. This what I want. This what I want. And we're going to see what we got. But to have one win, bro, in this division where the Patriots look like they can possibly be competitive, not probably win a lot of games. We know Buffalo is just their division. And if somehow Tua would get back in 2 weeks, man, and they win 4 or 5 games, they gonna be better than the Jets. So I don't know what this does with 2024 at all. 2025, maybe coming into the season, this is looking good. But 2024, bro, this season is done for the Jets, man. They're gonna take a lot more than Davante Adams to fix these things, bro. That's all I'm saying, man. So shout out Lil Rogers, man. He doing his thing, and is his son is his son in the league, man, in college? Maybe he can draft his son or something. I don't know. I'm just saying, man. We can get Bronny. Let's get Bronny to the Jets, man. You know what I'm saying? We need Lil Rogers doing his thing, man.
Lil Rogers, I like that.
Lil Rogers, man. He putting it together, man. So,
oh boy.
But nah, that was like I said, man. Twice in a row, man. Breaking news on the Jets, bro. So, let's make it 3 next week, man. Go get somebody else, man, so we can talk about it. But we was talking about the week as a whole, I guess, and I mean, we can go a couple of games, or you can just finish on how your take of the week. How you feel about it?
I don't even remember what I was talking about. I think in totality, my take of the week was just that I think we're finally in a stage where we're seeing the separation of some teams. Like, we know some teams aren't good, but we've seen them kind of hang around. It's pretty clear the Raiders aren't good. The Giants aren't good. I like what we got out of Tyron Tracy this week. We know the Panthers aren't good. The Titans are definitively bad. The Saints are falling apart. I saw Nick Underhill make a tweet this week with I think it was 8 of the 11 starters on offense are out now for the Saints. So that team's kind of going in that wrong direction. We know the Pats aren't good. We know the Jags aren't good. It's doing this, right? The whole league is kind of split itself in half, which is proper. It's just this is the week that it happened, and it feels like it's completely splitting. I'm still, the Steelers have been impressive, but I'm still just interested to see what happens with the Steelers team. Again, they play the Jets that we just mentioned a minute ago this Sunday night. I'm interested to see what that looks like on Sunday night. If they roll with Justin Fields again, how long is Justin Fields thing going to continue? Atlanta, how real is Atlanta? And the Indianapolis Colts, how can you go away from Joe Flacco? How? You can't. How can you explain that you can go away from Joe Flacco? He has. I mean,
he's here. He's here, man. And I think honestly, the pressure is. See, this is what I would do. When's their bye week? You know when their bye week is?
The who Colts?
Week
14. Yeah. Week 14.
Oh, damn. I was hoping it was week 8 or 9, and I was gonna say let Flacco play up until the bye week, and then bring A. Rich in after the bye week to kind of give everybody a break from seeing Flacco for at least a week. But week 14, if A-Rich go out there this week, bro, and they lose, just say 3 in a row, and it's because of quarterback play, I don't know how you can. I mean, you can't bench him for Flacco, right? He's not the future, but it's just a bad situation to be in, man. I think that's probably why the Browns didn't want Flacco there, because they probably knew if Watson looked the way he looked now, this team would be screaming to get Joe Flacco back in that game. So it may have been why they stepped away from Flacco, just to not put the pressure on their quarterback room. But yeah, I think the coach need a bye week just to kind of pray that people forget that Flacco was good, and then A-Rich come back. Because if you go out there and lose the next 2, man, or this one, not even give them. They playing the Dolphins this week without Tua. If he don't look good against the Dolphins defense, bro, I don't know what the Colts are gonna do, man.
Here's the problem, though: is this Dolphins game is probably a proper game for Richardson to come back to, right? It's probably the one that makes the most. It's probably one that he can. It's at home. He can get the things going. But the problem is, Fizz, is the next 2 games is at Houston, rival division game, good defense.
They already lost that one. Yep.
And then at Minnesota. And at Minnesota, what do you get? You get the most maniacal defensive play caller in the NFL, which we already know it's the subpar defense. Anthony Richardson can't read the defense, can't process anything. They're going to get killed in Minnesota if Richardson's the quarterback.
They are.
Killed.
They are. I mean, that's a game that I really want Flacco to play, because I feel like he's not going to. I mean, that defense is just on another level, but he's the quarterback that can manage that game.
Correct.
A-Rich is going to look like a lost football player, not a quarterback. Just a lost football player trying to figure out what the hell is going on, man. This is crazy. I never seen nothing like it. And it's not going to be a good look for him, for his future for the season. And at some point, man, they got to figure it out, because this is the guy they drafted. They banked all their money on, and they haven't paid him yet, but. Yeah. You can't have your number 1 QB was on his rookie contract having a battle with Joe Flacco, who might not even be in the league in 2 years, bro. That's a tough spot to be in, man. I think Flacco might have played his way out of a jogger. People might be scared, like, bro, we bring Flacco in, man. Our quarterback room gonna be in shambles. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man. I like Flacco though, man. Shout out to Flacco, man. And Will Levis on the other side didn't help the push to bring A Rich in because Will Levis just is Will Levis. So I think if the Colts would have lost that game, they could at least try to justify, hey, A Rich, maybe you would have won if A Rich was in. But if Flacco keep winning, man, I don't know how they do that one though, bro. So
it's tough to say no. It's tough to turn your eyes on Flacco in this offense, looking competent at least, where we didn't see a lack of competency in the first couple weeks.
Yeah, it is. And we had a couple of big games I want to get to, man, before we start touching on the quarterbacks. And the Thursday night game, man, 49ers and the Seahawks, bro. Good shootout game, high scoring. Purdy looked nice in that game. Ayuk is still nowhere to be found. And they lost Jordan Mason in that game. He got injured. But I think, man, the disappointing game from Geno was really the big talk because 49ers do what we thought they should do. But looking at Geno starting 3-0, we just knew, like, okay, this offense is about to start clicking, start stepping up. And it's like it's got worse and worse and worse. And I'm not saying this was an easy game, but Seattle, you at home, you're going against a division rival. You just lost to the Giants. So you should come into this game like, listen, we not playing around. We got to try to win this division. That's the best way to make it to the playoffs. And they just stunk it up, man. They just didn't look good at all. And a lot of it is Geno. He overthrew a lot of players. I was watching him on JSN just overthrow the ball. And I'm just like, damn, man, like, how far did he fall from week 3 to week 6? It's just, I don't know what happened. So, what's your take on, I mean, either side or both, but that Thursday night game, what was your thoughts on them and how Geno is kind of looking like he's falling out of, the graces at quarterback?
Yeah, Geno looks different. That's for sure. I like to see Brock Purdy bounce back. Brock Purdy had a good game, almost 130 quarterback rating, 3 touchdowns, no picks, didn't turn it over, added some rushing yards on top of it. I think that's something we had talked about before was Purdy. It's like, when's he going to get back to last year's Purdy? And this was a big game to do that, especially with Mason getting hurt in this game, being in and out. And they did get a good game out of Garendo, but I thought Purdy played well. Geno, on the other hand, like you said, overthrowing Smith and Jigba. DK Metcalf,
he had 11 targets and like 4 catches, bro. That was crazy.
Rather disappointing, right? I correlate it to T. Higgins. You watch T. Higgins on Sunday night, and I think he ended up with a stat line of like 7 for 7 or maybe 8 for 8. 7 for 7, 77 yards, right? And DK Metcalf, how many times have you seen DK Metcalf finish with a stat line of 7 for 7?
Maybe since Russ was there. I don't know, bro. It's been a long time.
You just don't is the thing. And that's like 3 receptions on 11 targets, 48 yards. And I can think of 3 balls off the top of my head that he should have caught.
Definitely.
The old one of the greatest coaches of all time, Bud Grant, Minnesota Vikings back in like the 70s, he would say, if you can touch it, you can catch it. That's the rule. You can touch it, you can catch it. And this guy's a super freak.
Yeah, he ain't no he ain't 5'11".
Yeah, he's not 5'11". He doesn't have short arms. He's a damn pterodactyl. He should be able to catch everything. And I don't want to say I'm disappointed in that, but like I think that's part of it. Like you have to get help from your receivers at times. And I thought that this game had a chance to shift when Laviska Shenault had that kick return and they got this thing back to a 2-score game. And then I think they forced a punt and then Ken Walker scored. And I was like, well, this is going to become a game. And then it just kind of like fizzled out at that point. And I don't know. Seattle's good, but I don't think that they're great. And we obviously didn't think San Fran was what they were last year in the last couple of years. But it was a good game on Thursday night. But I think it was clear San Francisco is ahead of Seattle in the hierarchy.
Yeah, no doubt. But I felt like losing against the Giants a week ago, bro, that should have just motivated them to say, because they should have won that game hands down, no question. So that was pretty embarrassing. And then you would think, now. That's what I'm saying. They started 3-0, bro. They was number 1 in the division and they lost 3 games in a row. And this was your time. The Rams are down. The Cardinals aren't consecutive. The 49ers was losing games. This was your time to stamp the NFC West and say, we the best team. And you blew it, bro. So Yeah, it was increased pressure, Mike. It really was. I mean, like I said, the 49ers defense, bro, isn't no joke. I'm not sitting here saying that Geno should have looked like Peyton Manning, but he's not looking like the Geno Smith we thought he could be. That guy that's trying to earn a contract, 3-year, 4-year, $100 million deal. He doesn't look like that guy either. And they did trade for Sam Howell, man. So he might be playing his way out of his role, unfortunately. So I like Geno, so hopefully, he can do what Sam Darnold's doing and they can keep, surprising us, but it ain't looking good right now, bro. And the next game I really want to touch on, though, man, we got to touch on this one, bro. The Jaguars and the Bears, and I'm sure that you don't want to talk about the Jaguars, but I just want to give Caleb some love, man, because he started off, he was a little slow in that first quarter. Looked like he was trying to get his stuff together, threw a pick to DJ Moore. I saw DJ Moore was kind of open. He overthrew it or let it sit in the air too long. And then he just started striking, man. And one guy will say that stepped up and I believe that's helped Caleb grow is DeAndre Swift. This running game that I thought was going to be obsolete because I was over Swift. Roshan and Swift, man, they got that 1-2 punch going, man. And it looked like they are real conservative, but they can ball with a lot of teams. Now, they didn't play 2 bad teams in a row to kind of get their mojo together, but that's kind of what you need, right? When you playing Carolina and the Jaguars back to back, this is your time to fix all the kinks, put the Band-Aids on the deep cuts. And now when our schedules start getting better, we already got everything together from the last 2 games. So what's your thoughts on Caleb, man? You could talk on the Jags if you want, but I mean, other than BTJ not looking good for us, they did absolutely nothing. So
Yeah,
what's your
I
takes,
think the
bro?
Jags are sellers at this point. You saw they traded Roy Robertson Harris yesterday to the
Yep.
Seahawks. I think that they're sellers at this point, sitting at 1-5. I'm actually going to go down and watch the Jags here in I don't know what 3 weeks, and they play the Vikings. Short
Okay.
drive to go down there, so I'm going to go down and watch that one. But I think that team stinks. I think Christian Kirk's potentially a guy that next Monday
Yeah.
or next Tuesday when we do this show, Christian Kirk's the one getting traded.
Breaking news, right?
Maybe somewhere like the Commanders or something like that.
To the Jets, man. Let's get it. The Jets breaking news. Christian Kirk. The Rodgers.
But I think Caleb Williams, it's been a slow build, but I like that it's happened this quick, and that sounds different, right? It's a slow build, but it's happened in the first 6 weeks of the season, right? It started out rough, back-to-back sub 10-point games in fantasy football for Caleb Williams. We've seen Jayden Daniels finish as a top 5 quarterback 3 times the first 5 weeks of the season. We haven't seen a single other rookie quarterback finish up in there. And of course, the only other ones playing are Bo and Caleb before Drake started playing this week. Caleb finishes this week as QB1 in fantasy football against the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's continuing to grow, and I think what you mentioned was kind of on point, and that is DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift was pretty much hung out, and they said, yo, we're going to drop you right in the bucket of acid. You're done.
I did already. So,
but the Bears did. The Bears were like, we're dropping you in a bucket of acid, and Roshan's taking your job. Yeah. And Swift, evaded it and has now become pretty clear cut the leading back. And he's been efficient with it, where he wasn't efficient the first 4 weeks of the season. He was actually one of the least efficient running backs in the top 25 as far as rushing attempts and rushing yards with Najee and Kyron Williams. He was bottom.
Definitely.
Right. Sub 3 yards per carry. And now he looks good. Now he can see the holes. Now he's working out of the backfield and catching passes and doing all these things. And I think that's, like you said, assisting in Caleb's growth, as well as, Keenan Allen being healthy helps. I think there's a little bit of a mirage. We talk about this on the Hurdle tonight, but Keenan Allen, 5 for 41 and 2 touchdowns, a little bit of a mirage. And I think that there was more opportunities for DJ Moore to be that guy in this game. But I think it speaks to the depth, and it speaks to this offense. It speaks to Caleb Williams' maturation, is that it doesn't have to be Rome, who he loves. It doesn't have to be DJ, who's the best. It doesn't have to be these other guys. It can be Komet and Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
So I was really impressed with this game on Sunday morning.
Yeah, and this is what we all expected from the number 1 QB. But I always say, if Caleb didn't have the weapons that he had and he was in Washington, without that coaching scheme with Cliff, he might not look as good. But if you give him these weapons, regardless of the coaching, Caleb can be who he is because he's a great quarterback. So he's right in the right spot where he needs to be. I believe at some point, the play calling, once he grows as a player, all that's gonna go out the window, man. You know what I'm saying? So I love what Caleb's doing, man, and I'm glad that we back on this QB1 aspect from Caleb and not the first 3 weeks of I told you so. He wasn't that good, blah blah blah, because he's really that good. So I'm glad Caleb stepped it up, man. And yeah, as far as the Jags go, man, other than BTJ, not doing anything for us. The running game was horrible. ETN is hurt. Tank Bigsby did nothing, and they did play the Chicago Bears. Don't get me wrong, that wasn't a light take, but like you said, they a rapid fire team. Get rid of whoever. Let's get some draft picks and try for next year. So I don't look forward to having any Jaguars discussions anytime soon. Um, Bucs and the Saints, man, that was a hell of a game. Actually, man, I ain't going through all the games, but we had some great games this weekend, man. And Bucs and the Saints was definitely one of them. We're gonna touch on Spencer Rattler a little later in the show, but man, Chris Godwin, right? Chris Godwin went out there and torched them up, man, cooked them boys up. You had the two running backs, bro. Bucky Irvin came. I mean, I'm not saying he came out of nowhere, but this was my thing with White, right? Rashad White.
Mm-hmm.
I never felt like he was a real running back. He was usually like a PPR, catch the ball kind of guy, high volume catching guy. And yesterday, really, or Sunday, really proved to me that he can be replaced in his offense. Like, I'm not
100%.
saying he won't come back as a player because he's still on the team. He's still a good player. But if he was out for the season, I don't even think the Bucs would miss him. To be honest, like the way Sean Tucker and Bucky Irvin look, bro, it looked like they have their two running backs. And hey, if you need Rashad White, man, come get him from us because we don't need him. So I love what the Bucs put together, and I also want to shout out Spence though, man. To be thrown against the number one team in the division, high-powered offense, they put up 51 on your team, and for you to be competitive, a lot of teams slept on you in the draft. Maybe that was for personal reasons. But to go out there, man, and no Olave early, he got hurt with a concussion, and you still went out there and only threw, I believe, 2 picks. He had a touchdown, over 300 yards, close to it, put up 27 points, man. That wasn't a bad rookie debut, man, for a guy that was probably the third string coming into the season. So, what's your take on both of those teams, bro?
It's a tough place to be in when your two leading receivers are tight ends and your third leading receiver is a guy that hadn't played all year in Bub Means out of Pittsburgh.
Exactly.
So, I mean, they targeted the hell out of Kamara in that second half. It felt like everything they dropped back, it was going to Kamara in the passing game. But it was impressed. I was impressed they kept this thing as close as they did till halftime. It was 27-24. They were up. They were up 27-24,
Yeah.
and this did 51-27. I mean, the Bucs are a better team at this stage of the game because they're healthier and
Definitely.
their weaponry is there, whereas everything's just kind of dead in New Orleans at this point. But yeah, I was mad respect for Spencer Rattler in this game to kind of just keep New Orleans afloat, keep them competitive in the first half, and this is just kind of the way it goes. He gave up 4 touchdowns in the second half, and it goes the way it did. But I think the biggest you talked about Godwin, but I mean Sean Tucker was. This is. I feel like every week I talk about this. Going to training camps, I saw Sean Tucker at training camp, and they didn't use him much of it. I think he touched the ball 3 times during training camp, the practice that I was there against the Jacksonville Jaguars. But you could see when he got the ball out of the backfield, the explosion that this cat had. Like I talk about how aggressive Tank Bigsby runs the football and how like beast mode vibes you get from it. But Sean Tucker was like that times 2 at the same practice, and I was like, man, I wish they'd get this kid the ball, and they just, I mean, Bucky Irving was the number 2. And I think I reported that, Rashad White was getting 90% of the opportunities at that practice. Bucky has looked much better than he did that day. And Sean Tucker has now finally got the opportunity. It's pretty clear cut. I mean, this is, I don't know how I shouldn't say I don't know how you go back to Rashad White. What I should say is I don't know how you, I don't know. I don't know. I don't get it.
You don't know how. Basically, I think what you're trying to say, you don't know how you find a role that he fits in over Bucky. And
he's the most inefficient. He's also very inefficient.
Yeah, he is. I mean, listen, I was all summer. I didn't want no parts of Bucky. I mean, and Rashad in none of my drafts because I felt like the offensive coordinator last year, the scheme is what made him what it was. And once they lost that, if they were going to go a run first approach, like run the ball with him, he's not like you say, not efficient at all, bro. He was on a DeAndre Swift trajectory at one point, but Swift is just a better running back, to be honest.
Yeah. I just He doesn't have the explosion that Sean Tucker does. He doesn't have the efficiency that Bucky does. I just don't. I mean, I love Rashad White, and I wish that there was a role. He always reminded me of Le'Veon Bell, but Le'Veon Bell doesn't fit in this offense either. So, but as far as everything goes in New Orleans, I do think it'll be interesting to see. Rashid Shaheed had 7 targets in this game, 1 reception. Now he looks like he might be hurt, and he may miss this next week. New Orleans plays. Let's see, who's New Orleans play this week? I just had it up. New Orleans plays the Broncos. So. And that's on Thursday Night Football. I forgot, but that's a Thursday Night Football game in New Orleans. Sean Payton's return to New Orleans. That's going to be That's going to be
Oh, man, I'm a love. Hey, bro, I didn't even know that was a game. I'm glad. That's definitely going to fit in with our quarterback talk in a minute. Yeah, man. I mean, well, so I'm going to go through about 2 more teams, man, because I know people want to hear about these Cowboys and Lions, man. But we're going to touch on the Commanders and the Ravens right quick, bro, because that was one of them games, man. I know a lot of people was complaining about the hits and the flags and the this and the that, but outside of all the miscues and the here and there, blase blah, it was a hell of a game, bro. That was one game that replay value. You can watch it over. Terry McLaurin definitely establishing himself as a receiver one, with his QB one, and yeah, man. I mean, when you looked at the game, bro, back and forth for a while, and started off, Lamar, I believe, threw a pick interception. It wasn't his fault. But I'm starting to see some Mark Andrews sprinkling in, man. Andrews seems he got 4 receptions this week and a touchdown. One of them was wide open. But when I look at that game, bro, I just look at this game and say to myself, the Commanders are a good team, but they're still not ready. And I knew that was going to happen. You play against, I believe Baltimore is the best team in the NFL, period. When you're playing against a team like that, though, you can't expect to win. So I hope the fans don't think that their season is over and, oh, no, we lost to the Ravens, because it's nowhere near over. But the Ravens are just on another level right now, bro. And I can't tell you when their next loss is going to come. They play Seattle. No, not Seattle. They play the next week, Monday night. That's a hell of a game. And hopefully another shootout game. But yeah, man, what you think about the Ravens and the Commanders right now? Because I think right now, bro, the Ravens has got to be the best team in the NFL, hands down, no question.
Hands down, no question. I don't know, maybe. I think they're locked in top 4. I think Kansas City, Detroit, Minnesota, and Baltimore are all in the same tier together. Okay. And you could make an argument that Baltimore is the worst defense of the 4. That's my one problem. The offense is a juggernaut. The fact that they've been able to figure this thing out on the fly with utilizing not only Derrick Henry, but Lamar and Zay and Bateman and the tight ends every single week. Like the way the season started to where it is now has been very impressive, and it'll be very tough for any team to slow this team down. You said, I don't know when the next loss is. I literally don't see one on the schedule. So I think that means you can lock them up for a 15-2 record, and I feel pretty good about that. So that's probably the number 1 seed in the AFC if things go that direction. So technically, I guess if they do win out, that would make them potentially the best team in football. As far as Washington goes, though, yeah, you cannot be upset with that loss. Yeah, it was a 7-point loss, but you had opportunities in this game, and you have to take away from that, right? This Commanders, nobody outside of that building expected this team to be in this spot right now through 6 weeks. I don't think anybody expected this to actually be the result through 6 weeks. And now you have a home game against Carolina, a home game against Chicago, the battle of the rookie QBs against Chicago. And you get Carolina this week, who you should go back home. You should a proper top 10 team, which I think Washington is right there. I think they're like, between 7 and 11, I would say right now in the NFL. A proper top 10 team would bounce back from that and play Carolina team at home and put a 35, 38, 41 burger on these guys. That's what I'm kind of expecting. Now that I know they lost Jonathan Allen this week, the defensive tackle, the great defensive tackle. But this is a good stretch where Washington can really grab a hold of their destiny of the season with 3 of 4 games at home, 1 at the Giants just up the road, in division, a must win as far as just kind of, like I said, grabbing a hold of your destiny for the season. Carolina, Chicago, Giants on the road, Pittsburgh at home, 4 very, very, very winnable games, and an 8-2 or 7-3 record coming out of those 4 going into that Philly-Dallas stretch. That's massive. And I still think Washington at this current stage of the game, I don't know what the odds are at FanDuel or DraftKings or anything, but at this stage of the game, Washington has to be your favorite to win this division.
Yeah, I mean, and they bye week is until week 14, and that might be when they need it because if they're close to winning the division, they're gonna need that right before the playoff push and all that good stuff. But yeah, I like what they're doing, man. Philly, hands down, has the best roster in this division, and they just look like Philly. Like they just look like a team that can. Last year they went 10-1 last year, and I said it through the whole season. Yeah, you winning games, but look how you winning them. And this year they winning games, but it's by a field goal. It's by a fourth quarter. Some sporadic happen. That's not how a team wants to win games, especially when it comes to the playoffs. And I just think, man, at some point Philly's going to have to put up a 40 plus point victory or put up 35 to 20-point win to actually feel like we back and we are the most dominant team roster wise and NFC wise to be comfortable in that division. But to go back to the Ravens right quick, bro. The reason why I think they're the best team, I love Minnesota and what they're doing 100%. And I'm with you on Green Bay. Green Bay is the most complete team roster wise overall. But I think the reason why I love the Ravens is because, like you said, their defense is the worst out of that pack. And I think now that's helping the MVP Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry actually play. I believe their defense has been so good that it's crippled the offense and made them play slow and want to be slow with the ball and not turn it over. Like they treat Lamar sometimes like a Geno Smith or Sam Darnold, where we just gonna let you do enough but not overdo it. Now the defense is slacking. So now Lamar got to really use all his tools, which he has. He's been had them. They just don't want him to use them for some whatever reason because the defense is slow. You know how that Baltimore Steelers, that NFC North offense thing, man. They don't believe in letting their players put up 50 points a game. This has never been their thing in that division. I don't understand why. So the only reason why I really believe Baltimore is just the best is because their defense is lacking. And now it's just like the Chiefs. The Chiefs suffer so many injuries. It's kind of hard for me to put them there, but their defense is going to help them be there. Now it's kind of the reverse role with Baltimore, where their defense isn't that good. So now the offense got to be what the Chiefs' offense usually is. So I just love that they letting Lamar and that offense take off because the defense can't stop nobody. And I this is the way I want to see Lamar play. I'm tired of him being second to his defense because he's not a second guy in this league. So that's how I feel about the Ravens, bro. But you know me, man. QB1 Lamar, man. Let's get it, bro. That's my dog.
This is his opportunity, man.
Is it? Can we get 3 MVPs, bro? Can we get 3 MVPs?
Shit.
I ain't gonna lie, he need a ring though, man. Forget them MVPs. Let's get that ring, Lamar. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'll be out Baltimore. I'll be out Baltimore with the parade and the wire shirt, man. Everything, man. I'm trench coat like Omar. You know what I'm saying? I'm going out there, Cody. So I gotta let them know, man, if they win that ring, bro. So yeah, man. Shout out to Ravens, man. But what I think another game I'm gonna have to get to, I guess, at this point, the Cowboys and the Lions, bro. I actually love this game, bro, and for a lot of reasons. It really helped the fan base see that this team is a joke, man. This team is not gonna beat nobody. I don't know why people thought they was gonna win this division anyway. And also coaching, man. We don't believe in Mike McCarthy. He's never gonna get us over the hump. Just lose games like this really bad so we can get him out of there, man. I don't think McCarthy. I watched the interview with Diggs and Parsons on Parsons show. And they talked about Dan Quinn and how Dan Quinn had them running through brick walls and wanting to just play so hard. And Mike Zimmer on the other side he's out of sync, bro. He's not connecting with his players and he looked lost. He's on the sideline just looking like I don't know what's going on. So
that's how he is, though.
He is, but I think it's just not connecting with this team. And I know for sure, outside of that playoff loss, Dan Quinn really had these players. And I love Dan Quinn. I always thought he was a head coach, even when he was on his team. So you can hear it from the players. They talking about Dan Quinn and how much they miss him. So I'm glad it happened. But people shouldn't be surprised, though, Cody. The Lions been owed us since that pass interference, no call when Megatron and Stafford was there and Roma was there, bro. So the Lions been ready to give it to us, bro. They felt like we cheated them last year in the playoffs. We cheated them, what was that, week 16 or 17 when they didn't call the pass interference. Man, the Lions been ready to kick our ass for a long time, bro. So I'm not surprised at this loss. I was surprised at how bad it was, but I wasn't surprised at the loss. But, man, shout out Dan Campbell, man. I put him on the thumbnail because I watched the locker room celebration and the game ball, and Them players will literally run through fire for Dan Quinn, bro. They love their coach to death. He's one of their guys. He was in those same locker rooms with Detroit and the Cowboys. And I love the coaching over there, man. I love what the Lions did to us because it made the fans hopefully realize that this team is trash, man. So shout out to the Lions, bro.
Did you see the quote from Jerry Jones this morning?
I seen the one Sunday when he I don't know about this morning. No, I didn't see one this
So
morning.
he was on 105.3 The Fan this morning.
Okay, yeah.
Doing his usual radio hit, and they asked him basically about the team and about the problems and all this stuff, and he responded with, your job isn't to let me to go over the reasons that I did something wrong. That's not your job. I'll get somebody else to ask these questions. I'm not kidding. So basically, and it's a bigger quote than that, but that's like the snippet that it was. But basically said, your job isn't to tell me what's wrong with my team. If I did something wrong, it's my problem and I'll figure that out. And he basically like told the radio host that he'd fire him, which was kind of a interesting twist, but maybe he owns the radio station. I don't know. He goes on there every week, but I thought that was interesting. I thought when they panned after the game to all the players walking through the tunnel into the stadium back to the locker room, and it was like player, and then it was like Jerry and Steven and crew, and then it was like rest of team, Dak, etc., and it was all silent. I was like, this shit's done. McCarthy's not coming home. Like, this is done. I thought he was going to can McCarthy in the post game, but I mean,
I honestly think he's still there, bro, because Jerry don't believe playing coaches while they paying coaches while they at home. I believe he kept them because he already paid them, and he said, "Look, you're gonna earn this money.
You're gonna deal with. You're gonna take the L's every single week."
I mean, it's plenty of coaches at home making $60 million right now that don't have to coach again. So I believe he only catch them because he paid them already. One for that. I think he would have been gone.
Belichick.
I don't know, man.
Belichick or Dion.
I just want that. You know me, Cody. I want the youth, man. I don't want no old coach, man. This ain't gonna get it for me nowadays. Nowadays, Cody, you got to have some sauce, some spice, some seasoning with you, man.
Who you want? You're a Cowboy fan. Who you want?
Be honest, I want Cliff. I want to see Cliff in Dallas, man. I think Cliff will open up that offense. I'm not saying Cliff is the best head coach. Yes. I really believe so. I'm not saying Cliff is
like Dak, though.
But I'm saying he's an inspiration. Like, he can give us. To me, I think McCarthy was just a guy that needed to, almost how Ron Rivera, when Ron Rivera went to the Commanders, I feel like he's never going to be a good coach there. I don't even think he was going to fit there. But I thought he was there to quiet the storm while Dan Snyder was going through all that mess he was going through. I don't think Ron Rivera would have the Commanders at 4-2 right now. I really don't. And it's not that he's a bad coach. I just think that if you look at River Ron, bro, he was on that sideline just looking like, I'm just glad I'm here. Like, he looked like he was just stealing money, and he was just here. And McCarthy does the same. He walks around like, I'm just glad I'm getting paid. Like, I need a fiery coach, man, that's literally making me feel good, man. And I listen to these podcasts, bro. I'm telling you, the players talked about Dan Quinn so much. They miss Dan Quinn, man. And I don't think Dan Quinn is the best head coach, but I think Cliff is kind of helping them with that offense and making it look like he's really who he is. But he is a player's coach. That I always loved about him. And I don't know, Cody. It's a good question, bro. I really can't give you a coaching name right now that I would say could replace Mike, because I know Jerry's going to go with one of his boys from back in the day, and like Bill Belichick, maybe. The thing about Bill that I like, though, you got to respect him, right? He got the rings, he got the hardware. So no matter the disconnect between the age and what's going on, I'm gonna listen to a guy that's showing me hardware. If I can't relate to him, I'm gonna relate to what he got going on with those rings. So I don't know, man.
I think the answer to the test is Brian Flores. I hope the Minnesota Vikings don't get rid of him, but I think the answer to the test is Brian Flores.
I'm gonna you think a defensive coach, though? Because that's what I was trying not to get into, a defense.
Yeah, but you get a defensive coach, and then you bring in somebody to be the OC.
True. Okay, and I wouldn't mind that, though. I like Flores. I don't know.
Flores got the energy. I mean, Dallas don't really have a backbone. They haven't had a backbone in a long time.
You don't. Can we get Mike Tomlin, man? Pittsburgh don't want him. They don't
him. I mean, that's. I mean,
Are we ready?
Tomlin and Flores are boys. Flores was in Pittsburgh for last year. I mean, to be quite honest with you, Mike Tomlin was a defensive coordinator for the Vikings back in 2006, and then that's when Pittsburgh got him. So 20 years
Cody,
later,
I'm gonna ask you, man. We ready for black coaching in Texas and Dallas, man? I don't know, man.
why? I mean, why not?
I think we are, but jury ain't did it yet. We've been waiting, man. I think
D'Amico's down there in Houston. He's in Texas. I mean, D'Amico's
but that's we talking jury, man. Is jury ready?
But Jerry's also got to have this thing go. Shit. Houston's got a better team than we got.
I'm just saying. That's the reason.
Wins that we got.
He's the reason why I didn't bring up none of those guys you named, because I ain't seen it yet. When I see it, I'm gonna applaud him, man. But I need to see it, and I ain't seen it yet, man. So
one more thing before we jump into the next game, we got trade conditions for Davante Adams. Tell me if one of these things will happen. So it's a conditional third now. The first tweet was a fourth from Adam Schefter. He fixed it and said third. Conditional third round pick to the Jets. The Jets are trading to the Raiders for Davante Adams. Becomes a second if one of the following happens, per source. Adams must be one of these things. First or second team All-Pro. Not going to happen.
No.
On the active roster for the AFC Championship game or Super Bowl.
Not going to happen. So I guess they got a second round pick.
Those are the conditions. No, it becomes a second if one of those things happen. Otherwise, it's
that's what I'm saying. I guess the Raiders got a second round pick because neither one of those things are going to happen.
Yeah.
Super Bowl team? No. All Pro 1 and 2? No. Now, he might be a Pro Bowler if the fans vote him, but outside of that, no.
Yeah, Pro Bowl 100%. That's a possibility, but All Pro is not.
Yeah. It's a lot of dogs in the AFC right now, man, especially at the receiver position. I just don't see that happening. Even with especially if Garrett Wilson went on the other side, maybe they could force feed him enough, but I don't see how you just blatantly disrespect Garrett and don't throw him the ball at all, and just to get Adams, as the receiver one on that team. So
the weird thing is, like, you see this more, I guess, in basketball, where like 2-3 dudes can control the entire narrative of a team and of a drive and of a movement. Yeah. And that's the one thing that we remember back in Green Bay. And I know it's been a couple of years, but back in Green Bay, Fizz, it was you remember they could. I mean, any given drive, those two guys are like, we need a touchdown, and the team can't do anything about it. Period. They just can't, and it's a different thing.
Listen, they beat on Dallas for a long time, brother. I know.
Yeah,
I know.
I ain't got to say much about that, but I mean, it'll be interesting to see how this thing unfolds. Anyway.
Nah, it is, man. Hopefully, we get some more breaking news next week, man, while we're sitting here on the show. You know how that happens, man. And I guess before we move on to our main topic, we talked enough about the Jets and Buffalo, so wasn't really too many. Another big game. Philly played 2016 against the Browns. Chargers 23-16 against the Broncos. Is there any other game you really think we just touch on, or you think we cool on just get into the meat and potatoes, bro?
Yeah, to be honest with you, like that Eagles game was disappointing.
It was.
I mean, that line was like 10, and Watson still played not great. And Philly got back healthy, and they weren't able to pull away in this game, which I thought was kind of odd. But yeah, I don't really got much to say about it. I'll be interested to see if Nick Chubb comes back and what that does to his offense in the next couple of weeks, though.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure, man. It wasn't. It was a good scoring lines, but it wasn't a lot of production from the teams that we thought would shut down those bad teams. So, before we get into the next, the rookie quarterback thing, man, I want to give some love to the Patriots, man, and bring these overcooked scores up, man. Let's see what we got cooked up today, man, for the people, bro. So we got AJ in the building, man. He put up about a good 125. 122. Yeah, something like that. Whatever it was, brother, you had a good one. You're 5-0. You beat up on Taysom Hill or Hillis. My bad. You look like maybe I don't know if this is a team you got Malik Neighbors. I know Neighbors your guy, bro. So if you got him, man, hopefully you 5-0 while he not playing. So good victory on that one, brother. We got 300-point game team Plank Crew. Plank Crew always come through, man. You've been smoking people by 300 every week, brother. So You 4-2, right? I mean, 4-2, number 4 in the league. That's a good 137, something like that. Yeah, that's okay. All right. That's what I like to see, man. We got a lot of shit leagues going on too, man. So
Shit
I don't see
wars.
no
I like
bad.
that.
Yeah. Look, the itchy shit. Damn, well, we got all types of creative shit names out here, man. um, the Bulbasaurs, you know what I'm saying? The drink and my boy drinking bleach is back, man. I thought this dude would be gone by week 7, man. I don't know if he's still drinking that bleach, brother, but you beat on Chill Wheels, man. Chill ain't looking too good either, man. 1-4, 1-5. Hopefully you get a top pick, brother, because this right here is a whooping, man. If you're gonna give somebody one. So is that Bud Bazaar? I'm about to say, do we got a marijuana leaf on his back? Damn, bro. That's some creative Pokemon stuff going on here. What's that, Cody? About 150s, 147, something like that.
147. Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Koopa.
And you know, you want to know what's so crazy? Cooper is the one that put this in. So shout out to Coop for
Self-owned.
basically, yeah, like basically owning it. And this is before the game was over, clearly, because he projected for 60. So damn, Coop just said F it, man. I went out with a bang, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to Coop, man. We know you can still get them warp tools to get up for us, brother. So we got Ryan D. Okay. All right. Team Mello, man. You 0-6, Playboy. I mean, you looking like Homer on that thumb on the couch right now, bro. You just flipping through the channels, man. Ain't no wins going on in this league, bro. So the Expo League. Okay, all right. Cooper came back. He said, all right, man. You know, I got smoke. Now I'm back smoking that turtle pack, man. So shout out my boy Coop, man, for making his way back. Because he was looking real bad for that 40-point game, brother. 40 points in a fantasy week, bro. I don't care how many people you got. That ain't good look at all, bro. So yeah, that wasn't good, Coop. Coop came back again, 12-0. Dang, what league is this? You smoking on that Raptor pack, man. My boy ATM ain't looking good, man.
Oh boy.
Shout out to Coop with this one. Sheesh. That was a good one right there, Coop. 12-0. That's a flex. That's a flex right there, Coop. Big flex.
Good work, Coop. Good work.
And we got Big Corey in the building. Oh, no, okay, you got your battery up there. I see it. All right, Big. All right, Playboy. I ain't see it earlier, man. So I like that, man. You got J Cap cooking on some cap, man. Number 2 team Big Corey, man. Shout out Big Corey, man. You're always in every week, man. So shout out to good people, man. I think the one, oh no, this right here is
Cooper took it the L. Cooper's L up 179. He got beat by 179. That one.
Yeah, that was ugly, man. Even if he wasn't the highest, that still was just to put up 46 points, bro, and then screenshot it yourself and show it. You lost though, Coop. So we would have nominated this one anyway. That's ugly though, bro. So shout out to the people, man. We appreciate y'all posting them up for us, man. And like I said, man, join the Patreon, man. Patreon.com/South Harmon. Put yours in there. Join the community, man. We always have a good time in there, bro. So now we're gonna get into it though, Cody. You're gonna get into it, man. Today I really want to speak on these rookie quarterbacks, kind of showcase them a little bit. I know coming into the season it was J-Day and Caleb, and that was really the big talk. I know Bo Nix had a little bit of love, but he didn't get as much love as maybe he's getting now. And Bo, man, been balling, bro. I mean, he got the Denver Broncos. If anybody think that game Thursday night is going to be easy for the Saints, well, nah, because they don't have Derek Carr either. So, I mean, Sean Payton's return and all that good stuff, man. I'm going to start off with Bo. Since their game is Thursday and they're going up against this New Orleans Saints Thursday night, we've got 2 rookies. Spencer Rattler should be starting again, right? If I ain't mistaken, I think Derek Carr's out multiple weeks. You think he playing?
Yeah, 100%. I think Derek's out for a couple weeks.
Okay. All right. So we can just touch on 2 rookies in one game. So we can start off with Bo Nix, man. So far, 198 attempts, 1,082 yards, 5 touchdowns, 61% completion rate, 5 interceptions. He even got 180 yards rushing, no rushing touchdowns, but Bo was doing what we thought he could do. You know what I'm saying? Just with lack of options and probably a team that we thought wasn't going to be good, man. I don't think this team would have maybe but 2, if not 1 win without Bo Nix right now, bro. So what's your take on Bo, man, before we get on Spence and the New Orleans Saints?
I'm honestly, I'm very impressed with everything I've seen from Bo Nix and the growth. I think that this team is one that, you know, what we talked about earlier at the beginning, I told you I kind of felt like a shift or a split in in the plate of this league, right? And these teams going in this direction. And I know they lost this week to the Chargers, but if you watch that game, that second half, this game was done. This game was 23 nugget, and it was like, well, what's going to happen here? Is the Chargers going to run this thing out and end up winning like 33-0 or 37-0? And it's really just going to be one of those burials. No, it was Bo Nix continuing to just push and prod and push the ball to Devon Vele and get Troy Franklin going. He finally caught a couple footballs, including a touchdown. Got Cortland Sutton in the end zone. Like, this team is, it's got a few names, I guess, with, everybody knows who Cortland Sutton is. Troy Franklin was a respectable college player. Devon Vele was an interesting guy during the preseason. We know who he is out of Utah. Javonte didn't have a good game, but we know who Javonte. Like, there's guys there. This defense is really what has kept Denver afloat this season, but I think Denver's really respectable at this point, and I think Bo Nix is a massive point of that. 6 carries for 61 yards in this football game this season. I think not quite to the level of Caleb Williams, where the maturation has just went like this, but I think it's time to give Bo some flowers and some respect. And I think as far as Dynasty goes, I'd like to ask you this question and pose you this question. In Dynasty today, because I was working on this last night. Let me pull my sheet back up here. In Dynasty today, let's call it Superflex, at the quarterback position, Bo Nix or Drake Maye?
That's a good question, Cody. That's a good one, bro. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna go with the offensive coaching, and I'm gonna say Bo Nix because
So
I trust Sean Payton, the offensive guy, to maybe put his guy in a better position than I do the Patriots and the defensive scheme that they probably run up. But I will say, watching Drake Maye throw 41 attempts in his first game, 3 touchdowns. I mean, yeah, that's pretty damn good, to be listed on that list with Bo. But I think the rushing aspect with Bo is maybe going to be a little better. But I'm going to trust the coaching on this one. I'm going to go Sean Payton, hopefully putting this guy in better situations. If he stays there. I'm not sure how long Payton even have with the Broncos, but he's the coach now, so I'm gonna go with the coaching and go with Bo.
Bo Nix or Trevor Lawrence?
Man, I hate Trevor, bro. I'm gonna say give Bo 2 years and he might be over Trevor 100%. So I'm gonna go Bo for the trajectory of going up.
Bo or Justin Herbert? Again, we're talking Dynasty here. Bo or Justin?
I know. They're just such a run-heavy team, man. I'm not sure how consistent Herbert can be, bro. Man, you making me really question my love for Bo now, bro. I didn't think I loved Bo this much till you started asking me these questions. I'm gonna go Bo, bro. This for the potential. I'm gonna go Bo for the potential. Now, right now, I'm taking Herbert though. If I had a draft today, I would take Herbert. But if you asking me the trajectory of who could be better, I think Bo, man, is one of those. Bo reminds me of Baker Mayfield, just not didn't go as 101 in his class and might not have the best options. But you put Bo on Tampa Bay right now, bro, he wouldn't be too bad, man. I'm gonna be honest. I think if he gets him a Chris Godwin in the free agency next year, or one of those guys that can help him with Cortland Sutton on the other side, Bo slinging the rock, man. I like Bo, bro, a little more than I thought I did. So I'm gonna say Bo over Herbert.
Last one, Bo or Anthony Richardson?
Nah, I'm keeping A-Rich. I ain't lose my mind on A-Rich yet, man. I still trust the coaching, and I trust that he can be who I thought he was before the season started. So that's like the cutoff.
I put him right between right between Richardson and Justin Herbert, which for me in Dynasty is QB 13.
Okay. All right, man. Hey, you made me really think about Bo. I ain't had Bo this high until I just had to think about it. And I think you're right, bro. I think the cutoff for me is A-Rich, Bo, and then Herbert. Yeah, that makes sense. I like that. I like that ranking right there. Damn. Hey, who got Bo, man? I'm trying to holler. What's up?
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I went in here and updated this, and I'm like, man, when you really think about it, you can really tell yourself a story for a lot of these guys and take Bo ahead of them based on what we've seen so far. I respect that. I think Bo's He's shown enough. He shows glimpses of Herbert. I mean, I know it's only 200 yards passing, but he's went over 200 in four of his 6 games. Played some tough defenses in Pittsburgh and in the Jets, in Tampa, and in Seattle. Some tougher coached defenses, tough-minded guys that generally for rookies is not the easiest to open up a season against. And I
Exactly.
think he's really picked up the Sean Payton playbook, and I think that Denver's going to be fine. I don't think they're going to compete for anything, but I think they're going to be fine as far as the season goes, and they're going to be competitive. I mean, they do have a nice couple games here against the Saints and Carolina where they can really get this thing moving. I know it's a tough schedule down the stretch, but I like Denver.
And honestly, I like it because I think they're gonna be playing from behind in more games than they're gonna be leading. So that's gonna help him have to throw more, pass more, run more. So
Yep.
just that aspect alone should help him outscore a lot of those guys. So yeah, I like that Bo take, man. I slept on Bo a little bit, bro. I like that. So I mean, Spence in the same game. We ain't gotta overdraw it because it's one game, and he probably won't start for the rest of the season if Carr's back. But just your take on him overall from that game and maybe the next 3 to 4 if he starts as the quarterback over with the Saints.
I want to see some more. We saw one game. I thought he played a good first half, turned the ball over a couple times. I think he's going to be a good quarterback. I don't know if he's a starting quarterback in the NFL in totality, but I do think he's a 10-year guy, a 10-year I don't want to obviously put him in a bucket right away, but like at least at
Yeah,
minimum, I think he's a Case Keenum, Chase Daniels situation where he's going to be able to be in this league for a minute. Again, he's had one start, so I'm not trying to put him in a bucket by any means, and I've liked Rattler dating back to his Oklahoma days and watched his maturation and his growth in South Carolina, and I'm a big fan of Rattler. But I think what we saw in his week 1, so week 6, is that he can be in this league and can play in this league. Now it's just about his growth and how fast he can pick up this offense and cook while he's on the fly. That'll be the big thing. So I think it's a big week this week, short week against Denver, and how he reacts to this. If he
yeah,
comes in, it's a good defense, and and if he's down a weapon or two, if there's no Olave, there's no Shaheed. I don't know what that's going to look like on Thursday, but and against Pat Surtain and this defense, it's going to be a very tough game to deal with. And I like that. I don't really got too much to say about Rattler because, like I said, we only got one game, and I don't really want to cook him
yeah.
up or anything.
No, but I mean, he's definitely earned his spot as a quarterback in this league. Period.
Yeah,
Like he shouldn't go without a job after his contract is up. I mean, Taylor Heineke's still getting jobs. You got guys like that still getting
he's
signed.
better
There's
than
no
Sam
way.
Howell.
You think so?
Yeah,
Okay, and I like Spence, so I ain't mad at that. I think they on the same trajectory to me, though. I think they kind of even to me, but I do like Spence. Like I said, 40 attempts, bro. He threw 2 picks, but touchdown, almost 300 yards, 250 yards, 55 completion, and they was down, like you said, that whole second half, but they was real competitive. They was up 24-21, I think, at halftime. So, let's see what they do against the Bucs, man, and maybe next week we be talking about Spence moving back up. So. I guess the next guy, man, we can go to is Drake Maye. Drake Maye had a good game, a surprise game that we didn't know if he was going to start, or we was basically waiting all season, like when is the Drake Maye gonna get called up? And he didn't look like Brissett. Like Brissett come in, he just does like the bare minimum. Like you come to work and they got that meme where that one dude, everybody lifting up furniture, and that one guy got one finger on it. He like, yeah. That's Jacoby Brissett, bro. Like everybody do work around here. I'm gonna just put my hand on something and act like I did work. That's what Jacoby was doing. And I like Jacoby, man, as a player, but I don't think he was doing anything in New England. And to see Drake Maye finally get to start and basically tell this team, like, I know Stevenson wasn't in too, so that kind of made him throw the ball more. But to look at Drake Maye and say, this is a run first team, defensive kind of scheme, and to go out there and throw 41 times, I felt like that was a brilliant play for him because he can do that. And he even had 7 rushes for 50 yards. So 41 attempts, 260 yards, 3 touchdowns, threw over 50%. And yeah, man, I like Drake's first game and first take pretty much as a rookie, man, to just be thrown into the fire after not knowing when your name was going to be called. So looking at this schedule right here, they play the Jaguars next week, Sunday morning. So if you think about this, bro, this is if everybody else is warming up their rookies and getting them kind of more involved against the Jaguars, this is the perfect game for Drake Maye. Even though it's in London and it's a little tricky with the scheduling, if you ever want your quarterback to get his feet wet, you're gonna go against the Jaguars, man. They don't have a pool out there in London, I don't think, but you still dip the toes in the water out there, man. So, what's your take on Drake this week and next week against the Jaguars?
I'm
Cody.
I like the way it's kind of I like the run up for the Patriots right now. The toughest defenses of the season are behind them in Houston and San Fran, Seattle. I think as far as you look at their schedule in totality, good schedule. I think it's a very manageable schedule for a rookie quarterback. These next 7 and going into the bye week. So, like you said, Jacksonville and this next one against overseas. We'll see how they travel, see how that stuff goes. This team's not good, but Drake Maye, I think I read the stat he had more touchdowns in this game than Jacoby had the first 5. So, like you said, literally finger on furniture, not doing much.
Yep.
And just kind of got him to this point. We knew New England wasn't going to be good. I was talking to Matty Q, he's here all weekend, and he just kept saying, "Man, give me that number 1 overall pick. Let's trade back. Let's get this offensive tackle, and let's go sign T. Higgins." And that's like, I was like, brother, that's like the nut situation. You get the number 1 overall pick, you trade it down for a bevy of picks. You still get, Kelvin Banks or Will Campbell, one of these tackles in college, and then you go get yourself a T. Higgins as your number 1. I think that would be
That's the dream. That's the dream right there.
the dream, right, for the Patriots. And,
sure.
I think you've seen enough out of Drake. He was a QB 10 in fantasy points in his first week, scored 20 fantasy points, big game for a debut, I guess, respectable. I know a lot of it came in garbage time and stuff like that, but I mean, I was impressed with what I saw from Drake, and it's something we saw from Drake in college when he could do it, but we knew it was going to take a little bit of time. And I don't want to react, like I said, too much to the first game, kind of like I talked about with Spencer Rattler. I want to see a couple of these things stacked in either direction. Like I didn't want to overreact to Jayden Daniels in week 1. We knew he was going to be sick, but he ended up being super sick, and it just keeps climbing. Yeah. Caleb Williams was a dud the first couple of weeks, and it's grown, so I don't want to overreact to it, but I do like the trajectory and the abilities of Drake Maye. He also added 38 rushing yards in and led the team in rushing. So if somebody else on this roster could kind of come along and help him, that would be nice. Also, interesting tidbit from this game is Kayshon Boutte, which he's been a second team guy. And sometimes we see this where a guy that's been working with the backup quarterback on the second team, when the second team quarterback comes in, that receiver gets a bump. And that bump went to Kayshon Boutte in this game, not, Kendrick Bourne, not one of these other guys. It went to Kayshon Boutte, who we saw get that work at LSU. I thought during this offseason, I think we all remember the gambling situation with Boutte, that he potentially wouldn't be on the roster, but here he is catching 3 of 3 on footballs, 59 yards and a touchdown. So I'm going to keep an eye on that as well, connected to Drake Maye, but I just want to see him stack games these next couple. Like I said, the schedule is very manageable for the New England Patriots, and I like kind of how the run out goes. Jacksonville, home game against the Jets, and that's probably the best defense remaining on the schedule. Titans, Bears, Rams, Dolphins, Colts, all manageable games, and not some overbearing gauntlet of defenses.
Yeah, and if you think about the Titans game, Will Levis on the other side definitely won't make Drake Maye have to overdo it either. You know what I'm saying? So that should be a close competitive game. And yeah, man, I like Drake's outcome and what he has going on. My only fear is, are they going to try to keep it low and slow scoring and just win? Especially when Stevenson comes back. Stevenson wasn't there, so it was easy to see Drake go out there and throw 41 times or 40, whatever the number was. But if Stevenson is there, are they going to take a run more approach? So that's the thing I really want to see too. And I don't know if Stevenson's playing this week or not, but I know once the complete offense gets healthy and back, I really want to see Drake then. But yeah, shout out to Drake, man. His trajectory is going up after this weekend. We'll see, man. The 2 rookies back to back this week on Thursday night, man. Well, not him, Bo and Spence, but see more rookies this week, competitive going against each other, and Drake going against the Jaguars in London. Everybody should be watching it. It's a Sunday morning game. It's not like it's a 4 o'clock, 1 o'clock out of the state and you can't see it. So prime time, we'll be able to really now check out on Drake Maye and see what he can do. So shout out to Drake, man. I like Drake. But now I think, Cody, now it's time to get into those guys, man. Caleb and J-Day, man. We're gonna go Caleb right now because I think J-Day is clearly the one as far as things go right now currently. So we'll touch on Caleb right now, man. And like you said, his first 3 games were definitely his lowest games. He came into the season as the 101. We all knew he was the guy. Best offense as far as rookie quarterbacks go, probably in history. The Bears built this defense. So we knew like his trajectory as being a quarterback was pretty much insert him and this team should be good, right? That's pretty much
Yep.
the whole talk of the offseason. Justin Fields out, insert Caleb, this generational talent, and this team taking off. And it started off slow. The Bears were definitely in hibernation, and now they starting to come out. And the last 3 weeks, man, they've been taking off. But this week right here, I mean, you had the Panthers game, which we kind of expected them to beat the Panthers, and we expected them to beat the Jaguars. But you going to London, I kind of was like, this might be a tricky game for Caleb. You know what I'm saying? Just like how it might be for Maye, but just the Caleb going to London started off slow. And then once it took off, man. He threw that pick to DJ Moore. And then the Bears. I think what really helped it, though, like we always spoke on earlier, was Swift. But the defense. The defense never gave the Jacksonville Jaguars an opportunity to make Caleb have to go out of his comfort zone and do too much. And as long as the defense got his back, which they do every single game, Caleb is really going to be more competitive every week because the defense never going to get him out of situations that he don't need to be in. And I just love what they got going on, man. But Caleb, like I said, overall, almost 200 attempts, 1,300 yards, 9 touchdowns, 65% completion rate, 5 interceptions. A lot of those interceptions was just bad balls or early. Because I know the one to DJ Moore, literally DJ Moore was wide open. He just floated it too high. If you would have just put a little bit of that that little zing on there, it would have been a touchdown, bro, over 50 yards plus. So he even got 170 yards rushing, 169. So he moving on the ground as well, man. So overall, man, I think Caleb is who he thought he was, and he's just only going to get better. And I like what he has going on. And how can't you with Rome and Keenan and Komet and DJ Moore and now Swift and Roshan, bro? This sounds like a team that should be competing, man, on all cylinders and all levels in that division, let alone the NFC. So, what you got going on with Caleb, bro?
They got a good run out. They got a bye week now. They've come in. They're coming hot, coming back from London. I know a lot of people wrote him off after that Colts loss on the road, but again, that was back-to-back road games. They had a weird start to the season. All AFC South teams home against Tennessee, at Houston, at Indy. Weird start, but they were competitive in all those games.
Yeah.
And remember, they came back from being down. I think it was 17-rip or 17-3 against the Tennessee Titans in week 1.
Yeah.
And we knew it was going to be a slower start, but I think the defense coming around these last 3 games hasn't given up 20 points. The offense has scored, 35, 36, and 24. Caleb is just, like I said, gradually grown as the weeks have gone by. I don't know if they're going to have the gas to win this division, but they're going to be that's not compatible is not the word I'm looking for. Why are you saying that?
Competitive.
They're going to be competitive in the conference. I don't know why compatible was in my head, but they're going to be competitive in the conference. And this game against Washington's big in that direction, right? I mentioned earlier with the Commanders and with Jayden Daniels. I think the Commanders have to be right now my favorite to win this conference or this division, and that's not being overreactionary. That's just saying, I think they got the best quarterback playing right now in the division. Not saying he's better definitively than Hurts and Dak, but right now he's playing better.
For sure. For sure.
And I think that's going to be a big game not this week, but the following week against the Commanders. So we'll see. And then they have Cardinals and the Patriots, and then they get into the meat of the NFC North when they go literally Packers, Minnesota Vikings, Detroit back to back. All 4 teams are 2 games or more above 500. So it's a tough division to win, maybe the toughest in all of football. Definitely. Will they have enough to go to last down the stretch? You look at the back end of that schedule, Fizz. That shit's a gauntlet. Yeah. Packers, Vikings, Lions, Niners, Vikings, Lions, Seahawks, Packers. It's
ugly.
Rather weird schedule. We'll just put it that way. But I don't know if they can withstand it or not. But we'll see what happens. I love not Chicago. I love Caleb. I love the growth that he's had over the last couple weeks. Like I said before, only Jayden Daniels had a top 5 finish in fantasy points for the first 5 weeks of the season. He had 3 top 5 finishes among the rookie quarterbacks. Caleb finally did that this past week against Jacksonville, finishing as QB1. So I think he definitively is what we thought he was going to be. I'm most interested, I guess, to see if this team in totality can stay glued together down this stretch.
Yeah, and I see Incoherent said the Bears only played teams with combined 4 wins. But I think that's what he needs, right? That's what Caleb needed to play teams with bad records. So now when that schedule get, how Cody just said, when that gauntlet schedule comes, he already got his reps in against those bad teams. So I believe that was the perfect remedy for them to have that schedule and to play the Jaguars this week. And now entering a bye, Caleb is definitely, he got blessed, man. He got blessed with his team, of course. But the schedule, I think the schedule is a blessing because he started off not so tough. So now the wheels is turning and he ain't got to stress too much, and the team figuring things out. When that schedule gets tough and the Bears gonna have to bear down, it's gonna get real. He had already beat the teams that he should have beat. So I like his schedule and what they got going on because now it's time to really see who he is in November and December. So I love what Caleb's doing, man. And to finish it all, bro, J-Day all day, Jayden Daniels, the man, the myth, the Washington Mumbo Sauce legend, man, is in the building. And 1,400 yards passing, 6 touchdowns, 75 completion rate. And if you think about it, he had like 2 games over like 90 or 80 something, right? Completion rate. So 2 interceptions, 322 yards rushing, 4 rushing touchdowns. And to be honest, Brian Robinson been stealing touchdowns all season, so he could have maybe had 6 or 7. But yeah, this dude right here, man, is definitely one of those ones for fantasy, for dynasty, for NFL, for everything. And Heisman Trophy winner, bro, last year. He literally changed his franchise from nothing to something in overnight. And to be sitting at 4-2 with that roster is like unbelievable. One, but two, the way he's doing it, right? He's not just going out there winning games and you like, oh well, they won this week. They won this week. Even when they lost the game last week, they looked good. The Bengals aren't the best team, but they smoked them a couple weeks ago on Sunday night. Went forward on 4th down like 2 or 3 times, like just to let them know, like, hey, we're not worried about it. It's 4th and 6, and we're gonna throw it to Zach Ertz. I don't know how much of the game you actually saw, Cody, but Zach Ertz, bro, was wide open. He looked like Travis Kelce on Sunday, bro. He was wide open the whole game, across that middle, in the end zone, on the out zone, every zone. He was wide open, bro. And I think just the defense having the key in on Jayden and not knowing where he's going to move, that's what we talk about with mobile quarterbacks, man. They get you and your playmakers a lot, get you open a lot because when you behind the back of that field, man, you don't know where to go. And then the linebackers chasing him, you a tight end, you a receiver, you going different ways, man. You can get open in this offense. And for them to literally be paying minimum wage to their skill players, like they didn't. I think next year they number 2 in cap space. They got like 120 plus. So if they paying minimum wage to Zach Ertz and all their players they sign, and they 4-2. So just imagine when they actually break open the bank and get who they want, draft who they want. This team gonna be serious, man, in the next 2 or 3 years for sure. So for them to be 4-2 and had this young dude right here, man, really at the head of the ship, man. They sky's the limit for the Commanders, man. So what's your take on J-Day, bro?
Well, I think you just kind of explained exactly why I think Christian Kirk is the best trade candidate for Washington right now. I think that there's opportunity there to go out and get a guy like that. But I can't say anything. I can't say enough about Jayden Daniels. I saw him, like I feel like I say this a lot, but I saw him at training camp and I just knew right away, like this kid is. I've seen a lot of ball spinners live in person with my eyes, and he's like top 4 ball spinner I've ever seen. And it's weird, right? Because you don't take him for that. You see his build and you're like, well, this guy probably can run pretty good. And he can. He runs like a damn gazelle. But he also has the arm. And that's where it's weird when you hear the comps to like the RG3s and the Lamars and stuff like that. It's like, no offense to either of those guys, but Jayden's arm talent is at a different level than either of those guys was coming out of college or ever got to. Even Lamar, who's had multiple 300-yard games, like Jayden Daniels' arm is still like a couple levels ahead of where Lamar's is. So this kid's great. And as long as he can stay healthy, I think that this Commander team is only going to continue to rise and rise and rise. And like you said, all the money is there in the world. And they somehow got guys like Austin Eckler, Bobby Wagner to go, Frankie Louvu, guys to go to Washington this past year and just believe in the idea that Jayden could be good and the idea that the Commanders could do something. They believed in an idea. Now think about the
Now,
free agents that they'll be able to say, "Yo, look at this kid. We got one of the best kids."
if I'm a receiver, hey, call me. I'm waiting for Commanders to call me this summer because I want to play for them. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
He made it cool to want to come to Washington again.
Bingo. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. You built you had guys believe you had potential Hall of Famer, likely Hall of Famer Bobby Wagner believe in an idea. You had one of the best running backs in the last 10 years believe in an idea, and now you have facts to stand on. Fizz, when you're looking at quarterbacks in Dynasty, we talked about a minute ago with Bo Nix. Let me ask you the Jayden Daniels question. Jayden
Okay.
Daniels or Caleb Williams?
I'm going J-Day, baby. J-Day all day, man.
Pretty
J-Day all day.
pretty
I mean,
clear.
I wanted to do tiers, but since we just going and we can just go, we can go from J-Day all the way through. But I'm going J-Day, bro. Honestly, to me, and we talking dynasty, I really have, and I know I'm a little biased with Lamar, but to me, I think it's Lamar, Jayden, Josh. That's the tier to me. And the reason why that's the tier for me, no knock on Pat Mahomes. I know Pat is still a top 4 guy. He's actually number 1 in the next tier. The only reason why he's not in that tier is because the defense has gotten so good. I don't think they're ever going to use Pat Mahomes for a 5,000 yard, 30 touchdown season again until it's not, you know. Other than that, Pat Mahomes is Pat Mahomes. I'm always put respect on his name, but the defense has gotten so good, and they got a run game now with Pacheco. I just don't think they're ever going to need Pat to go out there and lead us to victory consistently 17 games a season. So to me, the tier is Josh Allen, who I'm still put some respect on. I know they ain't never my favorite guy, but Lamar, Jayden, and Josh, man. However order you want to put them, cool. But all 3 of those guys is top 3 to me.
I respect that. I got them back to back. I don't know if I can quite get them up into that top tier though. Like,
Okay,
I'm just not ready.
I feel
I
you.
got them in their own tier together. I mean, I got Stroud, Allen, Hurts, and Mahomes in a tier by themselves. And then Daniels and Williams, and then I have a drop down to Lamar, where Lamar and Jordan Love are together. That's kind of how I have it built. But
But see, and I'm glad you said that, right? Because I thought about Hurts. My problem with Hurts is, bro, he has just not been consistent. It's been like
yeah,
games where, like last week, we knew Hurts was supposed to go off and take 40
yeah.
points off, and he's haven't been doing it. And the way they act like they want to replace the coach right now. I mean, the fans calling for his head, and they winning games. So if you
Well,
get a new,
I don't know, he's acting like an idiot. But
he is, but that's my point. If you get a new coach and you get a new Hurts situation might not be as good as we think, and even though they have the best roster in football, or one of them in football, so my fear is that Hurts is going to play his way out of that top tier. That's why I don't have him in my top tier.
I guess I want to see a little bit more. Like they've been without AJ and Davante for a couple of weeks, and
Yeah,
also Kellen Moore. I mean, you're a Cowboy fan. You've seen plenty of Kellen Moore, but Kellen Moore at this point fucking stinks.
I've been saying it for years, bro.
But I mean, I'm gonna hold out on Hurts as far as moving him down in Dynasty. I mean, we do have a pretty good run out here for the Eagles to get this thing right. Giants, Bengals, Jags the next 3 weeks before they travel to Dallas. So I'm gonna hold out on moving Hurts down. I totally get the idea, but I think it's really early in this, new offensive scheme, and the weaponry's been banged up, and Saquon's new, and Saquon's look good. But I agree with you. I'm definitely getting hesitant with Hurts, but
so Lamar is not in your top 5, right?
no, Lamar is 7.
Okay, so he's top 3 for me. You're Let's just go down the list. Let's go tier for tier. I would go, like I said, J-Day, Josh, and Lamar is my first tier. What's your first tier?
My first tier is Stroud, Allen, Hurts, and Mahomes.
Okay. I think my second tier would be Allen. I mean, not Allen, I'm sorry. And I didn't even had this written down. So I'm gonna go Pat Mahomes, CJ Stroud. I would go Pat Mahomes, CJ Stroud, and I would still put Hurts there, but he's at the bottom of that tier. But Pat Mahomes, CJ Stroud, and Hurts is my next tier. Like, and Caleb. I'm sorry, I forgot about Caleb. Pat Mahomes, CJ Stroud, Caleb, and Hurts are my next tier, and that's probably the cutoff at that point too.
My second tier is number 5 and 6, which is just Jayden Daniels and Caleb Williams.
Okay. All right. So we are well 6 or 7 in each on each side. I think my third tier would have to be Jordan Love leading the pack, but it would be Love, Murray, Burrow.
Yep.
I would probably say no, I wouldn't put Dak right there. I would definitely say Love, Murray, Burrow, bro, and that's probably the cutoff there. Yeah, put 3 guys there too as well.
So that's funny that's exactly. So 7 for me is Lamar, and then I think we have the same 8, 9, 10, which is Love, Murray, Burrow.
Yeah, Love, Murray, Burrow. So I think after that, bro, it's kind of like
Then that's a big drop off for me. Big drop.
yeah. It's kind of like, man, like I mean, I got Dak, A. Rich, Bo Nix, Purdy. I mean, I think even Baker Mayfield and moved his way up a lot of ranks, man. I'm not sure I will put him in that, but I think my next hit would have to be, I think, Dak, A. Rich, Bo Nix, Purdy, and I guess Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert be right there in that mix, and that would be my forward. And after that, man, I'm just kind of scrambling at that point, bro.
Yeah, I get down to a big gap between that Love, Kyler Burrow, and then it drops a big gap down to Dak. And then I guess he's kind of in the same tier as Dak, Richardson, Bo Nix, Herbert, and Lawrence.
Okay, so
And that's
Purdy not there for you. I would take Purdy over Lawrence right now.
no. Then I have another big drop down to Maye, and then Purdy's a couple notches below him. I'm pretty low on Purdy.
Okay, so as far as like guy like Jared Goff, you think he just mid? He's gonna be mid the rest of his career, and it's just is what it is, or do you think he can ever shoot up like high enough to be like where Trevor Lawrence is now?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, he's 30 years old. I don't know if I think he can shoot up into that tier. You brought up Purdy. Like I said, I got a tier, and then it goes to Drake, and then it's a couple picks or a couple spots before Purdy. Another drop down to Baker and Goff are together right next to JJ McCarthy. So that's kind of like a little spot by itself where like I don't think I'll ever move Baker and Goff up from where they're at. They're just kind of where they are. I think they're fine players. I like them. I like their values in all facets of fantasy football, dynasty, seasonal, etc. I think they're going to be good for the next 4, 5, 6 years, but I just don't see their value. I could be swayed. I kind of thought that Goff was going to do that this year, but it's a different. The offense looks a little bit different, especially with JMO. So, and less Amon-Ra St. Brown. So I just think I'm not. I don't think I'll ever pop those two guys back up into that top 15 area.
I got you. All right. Well, I mean, that was really what I wanted to touch on, man. The rookies and the QB tiers, kind of see how far we were, how close we were, and how the people felt. I guess before we get out of here, man, I'm gonna get you to give me the AFC QB of fantasy of 2024, NFC QB of fantasy, and then give me the MVP, man. The number 1 QB for the rest of the season, and a guy that's gonna tear up at the end of this year.
MVP for the MVP of the NFL or MVP
2020 2024 fantasy season for the quarterback position.
Okay. All right. So I mean your AFC MVP or your AFC best quarterback so far is 100% Lamar.
I'm saying for the seat, like for the rest of the season, who you think gonna win it? Like finish is number 1.
Finish is number 1?
Yeah.
I think we talked about probably Lamar, to be honest with you. And I see, Dynasty Barry says Lamar's tier 1 without debate. I mean, I was talking about Dynasty. I don't think in Dynasty he's a tier 1 guy, but that's here nor there. But I do think for the rest of the season, I think Lamar, it's his season to lose. You talked about it before. Third MVP question mark. Like, yeah, I mean, he's got that ability and that trajectory right now. I think he'll be competing with Jayden Daniels for that thing. I think for some reason people will still put Patrick Mahomes in that conversation. I love Pat. I think Pat's the best quarterback in all of football. But
no question.
I don't think he'll deserve to be in that MVP. I don't think he deserves to be in the MVP conversation right now. But I think Lamar should pretty clearly be the lead horse for that in the NFL and in fantasy football. We talked about at the beginning of the show the potential of Baltimore to win out in the NFL terms, and I think that only benefits his fantasy ability. Again, he's started to unlock not only the running game with Derrick Henry, but also the passing game with Zay and these tight ends, and even sprinkling some Bateman in there. I love what Lamar's doing, so I'm just going to ride with Lamar as your full season, rest of season fantasy football quarterback MVP.
All right, yeah, for me, no question, Lamar Jackson on the AFC side. bro. He's actually my MVP for the fantasy totality season, but MVP on the AFC side for sure. I just think he's a cheat code, bro. He's my QB coming into this season. He's always my QB1 until otherwise, and right now it seems like he's QB1. So that's my guy. Um, that was easy for me. But NFC side, because I know J Day is popping right now, man. But I know Jordan Love is still there, and we still got some other guys hanging around, bro. So Sam Darnold putting up a fight to kind of compete with some guys too. So the NFC side is the NFC, bro. This is so funny, right? The AFC is kind of like we talk about all the time. It's 4 teams, playoff time. That's it. Man, the NFC, bro, is like a checks mixed bag. You never know. We talk about the Bears being one of the most competitive, and they might be the fourth best team in their division. So, I mean, it's so crazy how the NFC every year we just get a new team that just get better and get better. So, as far as the quarterback position go, because that's what we sticking with. Who you got is the QB1 in the NFC for the rest of the season?
This is going to sound completely maniacal. Baker's been the QB1 in NFC side for the first part of the season, 23.4 fantasy points per game. I'm going to go to the guy that's kind of he peeped his head up last week, 35 fantasy points, or 2 weeks ago, let's say 35 fantasy points against Tampa. Their schedule, their run out, especially after their bye. So the next few weeks, it's okay. It's a little tough. Seattle, Tampa, Dallas. Then they have road games against New Orleans and Denver. On Denver, maybe some sprinkles of snow dropping. Bye week, and then it's indoors, Chargers, indoors at the Vikings, indoors at the Raiders, indoors against the Giants. That's your fantasy football playoff output or layout for Kirk Cousins. Chargers, Vikings, Raiders, Giants, all indoors, all opportunities for him to score fantasy points. I think the second half of the season, the rest of the season, Kirk Cousins is going to be the guy you want to own in the NFC. Or I guess I also think there's value built into that as well.
That's tough. I ain't gonna lie. That was not the answer I was expecting, bro. So I like those left hook answers, man, from the southpaw side, because I wasn't expecting that one at all, bro. So I like that. I think I'm gonna go with a guy that I just kind of downplayed as having not looking as good. I'm gonna go Jalen Hurts, man. I think, like you said, when you look at the offense,
pivot.
I'm gonna go Jalen Hurts, man. I know I talked about him, but that was a dynasty aspect. I just think this year, when you look at AJ Brown, you look at Jalen Hurts. I mean, you look at Saquon Barkley, you look at the whole offense in totality, bro. He has 3 Pro Bowlers on his team, like literally standing around him, and he's a Pro Bowler himself. It's not like he just can throw the ball and make them make plays. He can make plays himself. So I think if Philly really want to stamp themselves as the best team in the NFC, which they came into the season talking and feeling like, Jalen Hurts got to step up. So I'm challenging them, and I'm sure everybody else in Philly is to step up and be the QB1 in this division and this conference. And I'm gonna go Jalen Hurts, man, to pretty much run the NFC, bro, and get back to where Philly is supposed to be. And when you got Saquon Barkley, who you could dump the pass off to and he go 80 yards, that don't hurt you either. So I think his weapons alone should help him get to the MVP situation in the NFC. So that's my guy for the NFC, bro. But in totality, though, we got Lamar as the 101 in totality of the NFC. I mean, the whole fantasy season, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, look, man, sound like we had a good show today, man. Anything you want to touch on before we get up out of here? I know you got pre-recorded the hurdle tonight. So when everybody watch it at 8 p.m., man, it won't be live, but you can still tap in, leave your comments and your questions. And you know we're gonna get at you, man. But anything you want to talk about before we get up out of here, bro?
Nah, man, I think we just have a good week. We got a big game coming up on Thursday Night Football, double rookies, Rattler Knicks. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to continue to cook up the rest of the season. I'm excited to continue this thing, man. I can't believe we're already midway through October. It just feels like this again, bro. This is every week, but when you're especially in this thing and you're doing the amount of shows that we do any given week, and it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Fantasy man. Speeding by. So I'm having a good time, and I'm glad we're doing this show. I appreciate everybody in the chat. We see all y'all. We appreciate you guys tapping in, tuning in. Make sure you click that like button before you get up out of here.
Yeah, definitely, man. And before we got out of here, man, I know you always busy, man. Cody on the road, man, the road runner, man. He always moving. He always on the go, man. We got this morning show cooked up, man. I threw this out in there. He said, "Hey, bro, I'm gonna join you, man. I love to do it." So I'm glad I got to join it with my boy, man, because this definitely, this dude right here, man, on this side, whatever side he's on, man, he's definitely doing this thing, man. He do shows today. He got about 4 shows, I'm sure, today. Multiple streams this dude is on, man. So I'm just glad he here with me. And I got a couple of things kicking off, but Friday I want to say finishing my Halloween series going on. Me and Eric, Mike won't be there this Friday, so just join me then, man. But every week, man, we here on the Cook Up 10 a.m. bro. Come join South Harmon, the Patreon, man. Follow us. Also, man, if you're not, subscribe to the channel. Just hit the notification bell so you can get the information when we going live. And I always say, man, even though you in the comments leaving chats live, you can do it after the show too. I always make sure I reply to everybody. And just stay tuned in, tapped in with us, man, because we here. It's only week 7, coming into week 7. And we're going to keep cooking, baby. So guess before we get out of here, man, Cody, you got to holler at the people, show them a little bit of love, and one time before we get out here, playboy.
How we doing?
Okay, there we go. We out of this thing, baby. We appreciate y'all. Next Tuesday, 10 a.m. Tap in with us, baby, to Cook Up. We out.